Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. A couple of days ago, Marik von Rennenkampff, he served as an analyst with the United States Department of State's Bureau of International Security and Nonproliferation, as well as an Obama administration appointee at the United States Department of Defense. And he regularly writes on the UFO topic in places like The Hill. Actually published an opinion piece a couple days ago in The Hill that basically helps further prove that Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the former director of the All-domain Anomaly Resolution Office, is in fact a damned liar. Anyway, the headline of this article reads, "What has happened to the Pentagon's former UFO hunter?" As an intelligence officer, I would expect all of you to expect me to lie to you. So the former director, Kirkpatrick, of the Pentagon's UFO Analysis Office quipped to an audience in 2022. That's how Rennenkampff starts off this article, which is appropriate, I think, because the guy's a damn liar. He is a liar, and he's been on his disinformation tour recently, telling more lies, saying that there's nothing. He found absolutely zero evidence of a cover-up of a program to reverse engineer and retrieve crashed UFOs. He's just a damn liar. And this article here, this opinion piece from Rennenkampff, helps to further prove that. Anyway, it says here, since his retirement in December, Kirkpatrick has been on a media tour unusual for former intelligence officials. You're not kidding. Let me just stop there for a second. You're not kidding. It's unusual that you have this guy who was tasked with investigating this stuff, going out and saying he's found absolutely nothing. He quit. He couldn't stand the heat. He got out of the kitchen. And then he comes out. He doesn't really offer any proof to back anything up that he says. In fact, the only kind of evidence that he was talking about recently, which I talked about in a recent podcast, was he talked about that he found out that the whole Roswell incident could be attributed to metallic coated balloons, and that's all it was. And it was just people were stupid back then, basically. That's what he was saying. And he got all of his information that he got, that all of his research that he did was already done like over almost 30 years ago by the United States Air Force when they published their bogus Roswell report, which claimed that that what happened in Roswell was just a top secret balloon, and that's all people saw back then, and also that the bodies that people saw were just dummies that were used in the 50s years later in high altitude dummy experiments, dropping dummies from the sky as part of some experiment. That's what he's trying. That was the extent of his research, basically, into Roswell, was picking up a copy of a book that was published 27 years ago that the media talked about back then in 1997. But anyway, continuing here, it says, Kirkpatrick now indirectly accuses top members of Congress of holding a religious belief in UFOs that transcends critical thinking and rational thought. In his most pointed commentary, he has also fired back at whistleblowers alleging the existence of surreptitious government UFO retrieval and reverse engineering efforts. According to Kirkpatrick, none of the UFO whistleblowers have any first-hand evidence or knowledge. They're all relaying stories that they've heard from other people. But here's the good part about this, is that there are 3 people in Congress who are contradicting Kirkpatrick's statement. First, Senator Marco Rubio, vice chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, has said that multiple whistleblowers with first-hand knowledge or first-hand claims of UFO retrieval and reverse engineering activities have spoken to Congress. Rubio also stated that the whistleblowers are, quote, saying to us what you've seen out there in the public record about legacy UFO programs. Most of the UFO whistleblowers have held very high clearances and high positions within our government. So you do ask yourself, what incentive would so many people with that kind of qualifications, these are serious people, have to come forward and make something up? Exactly. Why would all these people come forward and make something up, and why would anyone dream of doing something like that under oath? Anyway, continuing, it says, Congress, it appears, referred at least some of these individuals to Kirkpatrick. According to Representative Mike Gallagher, who sits on the House Intelligence Committee and chairs a key China-focused committee, now new protections enacted by Congress resulted in all sorts of UFO whistleblowers coming out of the woodwork. In contrast to Kirkpatrick's denial that individuals have, quote, first-hand, end quote, knowledge, Gallagher stated that witnesses are telling congressional investigators that they've been part of this or that UFO program, resulting in a, quote, variety of pretty intense conversations. Without naming him directly, Kirkpatrick saved his sharpest criticisms for UFO whistleblower David Grush. Grush, in further contradiction of Kirkpatrick's claims that no whistleblowers have first-hand knowledge of illicit UFO retrieval and reverse engineering activities, had testified under oath that he, quote, had the people with the first-hand knowledge provide a protected disclosure to the intelligence community inspector general. Grush's statement, along with his claim of interviewing over 40 people over 4 years in an investigation of alleged UFO retrieval and reverse engineering efforts, could easily be disproven if false. Had Grush lied to Congress, he would almost surely be facing legal penalties. Yes. As far as I know, Grush is still walking free. No, there's been no arrests, right? Nothing has happened to him because he was telling the truth. That's why. Kirkpatrick, meanwhile, Grush, who testified under oath, right? He testified under oath. Kirkpatrick, he never testified under oath. I would dare him to go to Congress and say all these things he's been saying on his disinformation tour under oath. I would dare him to do that. Grush's inquiry, it seems, was far more thorough than Kirkpatrick's. As Kirkpatrick described in his own words, the extent of his investigation of whistleblower claims amounted to asking the government's secret keepers if a certain illegal program existed. Kirkpatrick's approach, as astute observers have noted, is roughly akin to asking a mob boss if he is engaging in illegal activity and subsequently being satisfied with a no. Exactly. That's what a lot of us in the UFO community have been pointing this out for a long time. I mean, basically, the Department of Defense, the people who are trying to keep this all covered up, appointed Kirkpatrick, and now look what we get. Exactly what we should have expected. Anyway, continuing here, it says, but the honor system is never a viable method of investigating allegations of illegality. Moreover, Kirkpatrick claims that a small group of interconnected believers had hoodwinked Congress and the media into believing remarkable fantasies. Kirkpatrick's account is disputed, however, by a credible source, and this is where this is, to me, right, when you have the top senator in Congress, top senators actually, and Chuck Schumer is right now the senator majority leader in the Senate, made some statements last year that there's no way that what Kirkpatrick could be saying is true. These guys like Schumer and the rest of them in Congress know things at this point. They understand that there's something going on. They know that there's a cover-up, and this time they want to get to the bottom of it. But anyway, here's what it says. In July, Senate Majority Leader Schumer announced extraordinary bipartisan legislation alleging that surreptitious government legacy programs are attempting to reverse engineer exotic UFOs of non-human origin. In stark contrast to Kirkpatrick's claim that a small group is driving recent UFO-related developments, Schumer stated that a, quote, vast web, end quote, of UFO whistleblowers and witnesses informed the eyebrow-raising legislation. Let me stop there. A vast web. Moreover, in remarkable comments on the Senate floor, Schumer cited, quote, multiple credible sources, end quote, to allege that elements of the United States government have illegally withheld U.S. UFO-related information from Congress. Far from holding an irrational, quote, religious belief in UFOs, as Kirkpatrick seems to suggest, key members of Congress are dead set on forcing government transparency on a decades-long mystery. They should be commended and encouraged, not mocked as, quote, true believers. Yeah. See, that's what they're trying to do. See, what's going on here, first off, Kirkpatrick is merely a puppet. It's obvious now to people in the UFO community, as well as people in Congress, I'm sure, that he's just a puppet for the secret control group. They know this, and they're going to keep pushing forward, try to get the truth out finally, right? But see, this is what they're doing. Kirkpatrick as a tool for the secret control group. He's putting out this stuff. They're just true believers. These people are crazy. It's like a crazy religion. That's totally false. That's total nonsense. Let me tell you what the religion is here. The religion is these debunkers who are. Well, I guess I don't understand the debunkers. Right, that's a religion, right? That these people who aren't interested in UFOs, don't believe in them at all, but they like concentrating on them all the time, don't they? I'll get into that a little bit later. Anyway, continuing here, it says, at the same time, Christopher Mellon, the Department of Defense's former top civilian intelligence official, and Luis Elizondo, the former head of a previous government UFO analysis effort, have both strongly rebuked Kirkpatrick's comments on whistleblowers. Kirkpatrick also appears to be muddying the waters on some of the most widely publicized UFO incidents. For example, in 2004, 4 naval aviators observed a, quote, tic-tac, end quote, shaped object, which was tracked on 2 independent radar systems, execute seemingly physics-defying maneuvers. To this day, the perplexing incident remains officially unresolved. Now, Kirkpatrick appears to be interjecting confusion about this well-known incident. According to Kirkpatrick, there's this company in Florida. They make these backyard lighting balloons. Some of them are tic-tac shaped. When we talk to the company, they're like, yeah, we lose them and we sometimes find them again, but generally not. Let me just stop there. It's so ridiculous that he was making these statements. He's actually calling the Tic Tac, the thing that David Fravor was talking about, that was going in and out of the water, flying at incredible speeds, tracked on radar on the ship. It's no way was it a balloon, but this is what he's trying to do now. They're trying to put the toothpaste back into the tube. And the only way it would work, they would have to get every single mainstream media outlet to go along with this ruse. I'm not even sure if that would work at this point, because there's enough independent media now to combat against this. It's just incredible to me that they're still trying to do this, that they're still trying to make this all go away. Continuing here, it says, after calling the company, I found Kirkpatrick's statement to be implausible. So Rennenkampff actually called up this company to find out what they had to say about this. The prospect of such high-end commercial lighting projects becoming untethered and simply floating away is remote, if not heard of. Matt Ford, an Emmy-winning lighting designer who hosts the Good Trouble show, agreed, telling me, as someone who has used these products for years, they never get away. At the same time, U.S. naval aviators have observed strange, semi-translucent spherical objects with cube-like structures inside of them since at least 2014, when 2 Navy fighter jets nearly collided with such a craft. As Kirkpatrick puts it, there's a large number of pilots who have said, hey, I saw this giant sphere, it had a cube in it. But according to Kirkpatrick, the next generation of drones that are being built are spherical. He suggested that such objects account for the military's frequent cube in a sphere sightings. Yeah, that's another thing he's been saying recently. There was an article about this where he's pointing out that it's just some newfangled drone that's flying around. That's what these things are. Again, it's all lies and disinformation and misinformation. It's all designed to mislead the public. Continuing. As evidence, Kirkpatrick points to a 2022 paper, but even the most diehard, unshakable UFO skeptic will have trouble believing that the technology cited by Kirkpatrick, let alone spherical objects seemingly capable of remaining stationary against hurricane-force winds, could account for any UFO sightings a decade ago. It is equally implausible, for example, that this would account for a cube and a sphere drone hovering in the vicinity of particularly sensitive military sites in 1960. For someone who hammers relentlessly on the importance of evidence, Kirkpatrick provides none that could plausibly explain the most perplexing recent UFO incidents. Thus, a key question emerges: why would a former Pentagon official continue a long tradition of obfuscation and distortion about the enduring mystery of UFOs? Well, I know what the answer to that is, because that's what he's paid to do. That's what he's being told to do by the secret control group. It's all a cover-up, and he's part of it. That's why. That's the reason for this. Anyway, I'm so glad to see that I'm so glad to see people like Rennenkampff, slamming back at them. We got to keep doing this. I mean, the people in the UFO community got to keep fighting back against these morons. The secret control group and their puppets like Kirkpatrick, and also the debunkers, who they love this kind of stuff. They love when Kirkpatrick goes on disinformation tours, because that's what they need, that they want it. See, it's a religion to the debunkers. They're the ones. I don't know why they're so interested in this. Why are they so concerned? If they think this is all crazy and stupid, then why are you even worried about it? Why are they worried about it? But they are. Oh, they're extremely worried about it. In fact, yesterday I talked about that ridiculous article that was written by Nicholson Baker, who writes pornography books, that appeared in the New York Magazine's Intelligencer, or Stupider, which it should be called. And I'll tell you, the bunkers out there, they loved it. They loved it. Here's Jason Colavito on Twitter yesterday. New York Magazine attacks UFO lunacy. Sean Kirkpatrick's Siam op-ed has given the media cover to buck powerful politicians and rich folk and state plainly that the emperor has no clothes. But this only confirms how easily manipulation occurs. Now, let me just stop right there. For one thing, the only lunacy going on here is from people like Jason Colavito. This guy's a jackass, and he's a dope, right? And all his colleagues are dumbbells too. Anybody who listens to this guy is really stupid, I gotta tell you. This guy is a complete disingenuous fool. He's scared of this, and he doesn't want it. He thinks that article yesterday was awesome. Of course, I talked about all of that article in yesterday's podcast. All right, it was filled with inconsistencies, lies, incomplete information. For instance, like the Kenneth Arnold sighting in 1947 of 9 disc-shaped objects over Mount Rainier. The writer Nicholson Baker failed to point out the fact that the objects were traveling at 1,700 miles per hour. That was what Arnold calculated, and this guy he left that information out, right? And then later claimed that it was just balloons. Balloons account for all of it, according to Nicholson Baker. And the emperor has no clothes now because Nicholson Baker and Sean Kirkpatrick's op-ed. Of course, Sean Kirkpatrick wrote that terrible op-ed recently. All of that stuff, it proves it. It's over now, according to people like Jason Colavito. What a moron. Anyway, he goes on to say, the big outlets are reporting exactly what I wrote about it in New Republic 3 years ago, to intense criticism from many of these same outlets, as simple and obvious fact. The reality is that journalists' attitudes mirror whoever seems to hold the most power at any moment. Major media are stenographers. They won't criticize high-ranking senators, and they'll go along with whatever the New York Times declares important. Even with the catastrophically stupid decision to introduce dead aliens and ET treaties, the media couldn't call BS without cover. Kirkpatrick gave official cover from a rival power center, the Pentagon, but this whole debacle shows how easily propaganda and manipulation can take hold with only a few bad actors and a couple of gullible legislators. It's a dark lesson. China and Russia are watching. What a moron. This guy's a dope. I mean, he's so scared of this phenomenon. He doesn't want it to happen. He doesn't want the world to change. That's what they're afraid of. They have this religion. They want to keep the status quo because they don't want to go there. They don't want everyone to know that there is an extraterrestrial presence here, particularly themselves. This guy doesn't want to know. He doesn't want to believe it. It scares the hell out of them. It's incredible, man. These people are just, I don't know. But you know what? They have big followings. I mean, look at this Colavito. I mean, let's see how many people he has 7,322 followers on Twitter. And he got, how many? He gets a bunch of likes for every time he puts out one of these stupid statements. A lot of people follow him. And that's all it is. Well, I like what UFOB actually tweeted back to him. They wrote, "Angry man retweets bad articles." Yeah, that's what it is. Colavito's an angry man. He's a dummy. He's scared. He's running scared. All of these people, all these debunkers, Colavito, Greenstreet. Oh, I'm not sure about Greenstreet. I think he's just an idiot. I think I don't know. I think he's mentally unhinged. Mick West, all these people, they just want to focus on, they want to try to, they don't believe it, and they don't want to believe it, and they just want it to go away, and they're afraid of it. I'm afraid to tell them, though, that unfortunately it's not going to go away because it's real, and at some point they're going to be proven wrong. I want to be alive when disclosure happens, because I can't wait to see the reaction from these goofballs at this point. I love to see Colavito, what he has to say once it's shown for a fact that the government has been hiding, keeping secret the reality that we're not alone. I can't wait to see. I want to see it so bad. So Congress, you got to do this. We got to see how these clowns react when the truth is finally revealed. I can't wait. Actually, somebody wrote to him, a Twitter user named Dagfinn Hessen Post wrote, "The core claim of this piece, though stated only in passing, is that the, quote, war planners, end quote, whom Grush interviewed in his official investigation conspired to deceive him about crash retrieval so Congress would fund defense against non-existent NHI. Is that your belief as well?" And Colavito responds, "I have no evidence either way. My gut feeling is that there isn't really enough money involved to warrant such an elaborately ridiculous conspiracy." Like, these people can't get it in their heads, like Colavito, that there could be a conspiracy like this. They can't accept it. They don't want to accept it. But the bottom line is the deeper implication here is they don't want to accept this reality of the extraterrestrial presence. It's scaring the hell out of them. Anyway, moving on, I want to talk about the recent Spotify polls that I've conducted. I guess we'll start from 4 episodes ago. For the episode, lackluster Pentagon UAP tracking effort is uncoordinated, says DOD Inspector General. There's 55 votes on this one so far, and the question was, is the Pentagon's policy to not properly coordinate its efforts to track UAP a sound policy? 12 people, or 21.8%, said yes, while 43 people, or 78.2%, say no. As I said before, I did talk about this particular poll previously. Like I said before, it's a yes and no, and I should have had that. I should have said yes and no, and the reason is because it's not. Yeah, of course, it's not a sound policy, right? Because you should be tracking these things. You should be keeping a record of all this stuff, right? But at the same time, you understand why why it would be no. From the point of view of people in the Pentagon, it makes absolute sense not to even worry about it, because there's nothing they can do about these things. They're out of their control. They're too far technologically advanced, way more technologically advanced than anything that any military in the world has. So what's the point? I mean, you understand from their point of view, and because it is real and they are keeping it a secret. So yeah, I understand. So the answer really should have been yes and no, and I should have offered that choice, but I did not. Okay, for the episode, CNN operatives transform into blithering idiots after meeting with Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. I asked this question: what word best describes your feelings on CNN's ineptitude in finding Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick's lies about the UFO cover-up, quote, convincing, end quote? 77 votes so far, and they're pretty evened up here. 24 people, or 31.2%, are disappointed. 26 people, or 33.8%, are amused, and 27 people, or 35.1%, are angry. Yeah, I think actually all three. But if I was to pick one, I would probably go with angry too. I'd go with the majority on this one at this point. Yeah, angry about it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like the way the mainstream news treats this subject whatsoever. Okay, moving on. Nolan slams Neil deGrasse. This is for the episode. Nolan slams Neil deGrasse Tyson / physical trace evidence associated with UFOs. I asked this question: is there enough evidence in the public domain at this moment that, collectively, proves non-human intelligences are present on Earth? 69 votes so far. 16 people, or 23.2%, say no, while 53 people, or 76.8%, say yes. I think that there is. I just think with all the testimony, with all the physical trace evidence, with all the images and pictures and film and video, with the objects that have been removed from alien abductees, the implants, I think, yes, there should be. I mean, if we were to put all of this stuff, it would be nice. What we should be doing here, all of this evidence should be put into one central location where scientists could look at everything, right, and make up their minds and come to a determination. Because I think that it's already here. So, I mean, yeah, I do agree with the majority on this one. Yeah, I think that there most certainly is enough evidence at this point that in the public domain that shows for a fact that it's here. I mean, anybody with a half a brain, you can look at all this stuff. How is this not evidence? I mean, I believe if you were to take some of these cases to a court of law, the court, a jury would find that yes, extraterrestrials are obviously responsible. I believe that would happen. I believe that would happen with the Ariel school incident. I believe that would be the ruling in the end. So yes, I think it already does exist, but because of the way media is structured in this world, we're just not. The people just don't know the truth. We got all these debunkers running rampant with their insanity, their lunacy, and this is what we have. And that's why we need to have the people covering this up in the government to come clean already. That's what we really need. That would end it. Okay, and then for yesterday's episode, now this isn't even 24 hours ago that I published this, but so there's only 39 votes so far. But for the episode, debunker blames monkeys killed in rocket and balloon experiments for dead alien body reports. I asked this question: what did military personnel who claim to have seen dead alien bodies really see? And there was 7 different choices here. One person, or 2.6%, said drug-induced illusions. No. Let's see here. 3 people, or 7.7%, says nothing. They lied. No. I don't believe that. I don't agree with that one. 3 people, or 7.7%, say dead monkeys. I don't agree with that one. Oh, excuse me, I missed one here. 2 people, or 5.1%, say mirages. No, I don't agree with that one. I don't agree with that one. I don't agree with the dead monkeys. I don't agree with they lied. 4 people, or 10.3%, say anthropomorphic dummies. That's what people saw. 3 people, or 7.7%, say other. And then the winner is dead ET / non-human intelligence. 23 people said that, 59%. And I do agree with that one. I believe that military personnel, for the most part, I believe over the years, the people that have talked about this, the people who were interviewed with regard to the Roswell crash, I believe that they actually did see dead alien bodies. Based on all the research that has been conducted by many different people over the decades that looked into things like Roswell, among other UFO crashes. Yes, for certain, dead ETs, I believe that that's the case. The dead monkeys stuff, wow. Wow. That was another thing about that. According to people like Jason Colavito, that dead monkey assertion put forward by Nicholson Baker in that stupid article that I was talking about in the previous podcast. That proves it. That shows that the emperor has no clothes, according to Jason Colavito. See, all the time everything is a balloon. Every flying saucer report is a balloon. Every single dead alien crash story, it's all about dead monkeys. In reality, that's according to people like Nicholson Baker, and people like Jason Colavito believe that the game, set, and match, the way he's talking on Twitter. Incredible. Yeah, it is a religion. This debunker cult it's most certainly some kind of sick religion where they just, what do? I don't know. I don't understand it when you really think about it. I mean there are things out there like flat Earth people. There's people out there who believe that the Earth is flat. I mean, they have their own Facebook pages and things like that. I mean. That would be like me deciding to go in there and constantly, why I wouldn't do this, but that would be like me going there and saying, you guys are crazy. Why do you keep doing this? You guys are nuts. This is insanity. This is lunacy. Why? I wouldn't do that. I would stay away from them if I did, because I know that they're crazy. There's no point in even bothering and talking to them. See, to the debunkers though, the reason they're so concerned about all these people like me and you being interested in UFOs and extraterrestrials and wanting to know more about them and wanting UFO disclosure to finally happen. Why are they so concerned about it if it's so crazy to them? That's because they're scared. They're scared. They live their whole lives in fear. That's what it comes down to, the bottom line. The bottom line. Anyway, I want to say thank you all for joining me. Until next time.